He was the assistant coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Toronto Raptors, and the Los Angeles Lakers. He won a championship with all three of them. Who am I talking about? My good friend, Coach Phil Handy. If you're listening to us on any one of our platforms, if you're watching, thank you very much. Like and subscribe if this is a YouTube thing. Otherwise, whatever. Let's dig in.
Long time coming.
Yeah, how long has it been? 6 years of us just talking about doing an interview?
6 years and counting, man. It's going back. It's going back some time.
Let me give everybody the update just so we can qualify. So, 1993 or 4, something like that. I grew up in Honolulu. Mr. Philip Handy played for the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Dun, 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 dun. And I was their ball boy. I was just a little tiger. And after my 8th grade year, I think is when you showed up, I would literally pass you the ball all the time. You played the number 3, and you had what was it? It was like a sleeveless on the right side.
Shooting on free, baby.
Yeah, it was like
fundamental athlete. That was my brother's clothing line.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. I remember that. We'd be in the crowd. Handy! It was fucking awesome, man. So you also used to go to the Central YMCA.
Yep.
I remember that, and that was like where all the coaches or not coaches, but a lot of the basketball players on the island would play. That in the fire department. You ever go outside in the fire department?
Bucky Park, man.
Yeah, dude, right across from the zoo.
Bucky Park, boy.
So yeah, and I was watching a game, and I'm staring. I forget who I was watching. It might have been Toronto or Cleveland, but I was like, "Who the hell?" I'm going, "No, wait." I'm trying to figure out who you were, and I was just like, "You look so damn familiar. It's freaking me out." I thought, like, "Am I going nuts? Like, how old am I?" And I found out I literally almost shot a Cheerio out my nose, man. I was like, "What? Like, are you fucking kidding me, man?" Like, I couldn't believe it, dude. And and here we are now. So that was a while ago.
Yeah, man.
Nice little intro there.
That's a nice little long line of history for us going back to the Hawaii days, man.
Yeah. So do you keep in touch with like Bob Nash and Riley Wallace, or how they doing?
I do, man. I keep in touch with Trevor Ruffin.
Yeah.
I keep in touch with Walter Bonner. I keep in touch with John Spinoli.
Spinogle, man. We'd be in the crowd. Spinogle would always like never play. He'd be the one the crowd favorite. That was our damn Rudy.
Man.
Oh my God, you hang out with Spinogle still?
Bobby Nash Jr., Bobby Nash Sr. Every now the communication is still there.
Cool, man.
So me and Walter Bonner are probably the closest. Me, Walter, and Trevor Ruffin. I see those guys quite often.
When I was a freshman, I had this thing called oral communications. Really sketchy name of a class, by the way. They like taught you how to be social.
What other kind of communication is
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, well, there's sign language, and then I don't know. Yeah, how y'all doing? What's going on? But no, and I asked Trevor if I could do a report on him, and he was like, "Yeah, for sure." I never saw him again. I was like, "Fuck, damn it!" But
that's
dude, he played for the Lakers for a little while.
He did.
Yeah,
right out of Hawaii.
Yeah, I remember the hell out of that.
I think that was my senior year. He came back. They came back because that's when the Lakers used to do training camp
in
at the
Hawaii.
University of Hawaii on the campus. And how crazy is that for Trev to be able to come back to Hawaii?
I was there that game, dude.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
right?
man. I would go to their practices at Clum Gym, dude. And I swear to God, when Trevor walked in, I was just like, I felt like I was in the NBA, man, because I was a ball boy for a couple of years too. I couldn't believe it, dude. I was like, "You're a fucking Laker, man!" Like, it's Trevor Ruffin and Vlade Divac on the same damn team. Couldn't believe it, man. And it was really cool too, because when they announced his name at the arena in Hawaii for the exhibition game, it was just this onslaught of cheers.
Pandemonium.
Yeah, it was so cool, man. Well, I'm glad he's doing good. What you been up to? Let's catch up to the present.
After college, I started a training business called 94 Feet Game. Did that for about 12 years, where I trained a lot of high school athletes, college athletes, European professional players, semi-pro, NBA players, and all in the realm of skill development. Did that for a long time, and then in 2011, took my first job in the NBA with the Lakers.
So you went to the Lakers before because we'll get there, but this man has rings. He's got rings, all right? Talk all the shit you want. This guy's got 3 championship rings. We'll get to that.
I mean, look, I played professionally for 10 years. After college, I had a short stint in the NBA with the Warriors.
You played?
Part-time to Portland Trail Blazers. Then I played in the CBA. Played over in Europe for a long time. And then when I retired, that's when I started my business, training business. And like I said, 2011, became an assistant coach with the Lakers, or actually player development coach. That was my first role in the NBA. And here we are 13 years later. So Lakers for 2 years. I went to Cleveland for 5 years. The Cavaliers. Went to Toronto for 1 year with the Raptors. And I've been back with the Lakers now for another 5 years.
It seems like LeBron takes you like very incredibly serious. I mean, if LeBron just by chance, and I know it's not up to you, all right, but just by chance, let's say he plays somewhere else, would he, in the back of his mind, want to take you with him, or would? I mean, I know you're under contract and stuff, but is that a thing? Can he just, because he can kind of bend the rules? And
Nah, I mean, look, I'm under contract, and I think that would be a question people have to ask Bron. Look, Bron and I have a great relationship, obviously, a lot of respect there. Done a lot of work together over the years, but it's not a situation where Bron could go to another team and try to take me with him.
But he's got pull. I mean, it's what it seems like.
I mean, he does.
You know,
he does. But Bron's one of those guys, man. He's a respecter of people's careers. You know, like even when he left Cleveland, he went to the Lakers, and I went to Toronto. You know, and it just so happened organically that our careers and our paths linked back up when I had the opportunity to come here and coach with the Lakers. But man, Bron is an incredible human being.
Yeah, we're going to get to LeBron James.
Yeah.
I got a couple questions. I wrote down some questions, but before I get to that, let's address the elephant in the room, Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant. That's not his actual uniform, but I did what I could there. And if you guys see a Chihuahua running around here aimlessly, I don't know if you can see him on camera, his name is Kobe. The doggy llama, Mamba Mini, pretty much covers it all. What was your relationship with Kobe?
Great relationship, man. It was that was probably that opportunity to coach him or coach, have an opportunity to coach him and be a part of the Laker organization. That was the main reason why I left my business back in 2011. Had a really, really successful business, but the lure was to have the opportunity to try to strike up a relationship with Kobe.
Yeah.
To have an opportunity to work side by side with him. One of the greatest players to ever lace up shoes, man. So our relationship was one of respect. I think Kobe really respected my work ethic as a young coach, and then just I had immense respect for him and his work ethic.
Like Michael Jordan had this mentality to where he would come down on players, and it was like tough love, you know what I mean? And he was kind of notorious for that. I heard the same thing about Kobe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very similar.
What was the immediate circle in the family around?
Man, when you're guys like that, MJ, Kobe's of the world, even to a degree LeBron, they're tough on the teammates because their level of excellence, they're not perfect, but they put in so much time. And they're so competitive. They are tough on their teammates at times because they want their teammates to be at the same level of excellence and competitiveness that they are. And so MJ was a guy that all he wanted to do was win. His whole thing was about winning. Kobe was the same. He just wanted to win, wanted to be one of the best players to ever play. And so sometimes when you're driven by that, you have the innate ability to push everybody else around you to also be driven by that. But that's not what drives everybody. And so you hear different stories of MJ and Kobe, being tough on their teammates, and it all came from a place of competitiveness.
Yeah, I mean, he's not trying to come down on people.
Nah, it's just they want to win.
He wants to win. That's the whole damn point.
That's it.
That's what you guys do, man.
And sometimes if they feel that their teammates or even anyone in the organization around them that doesn't carry the same sentiment, then they're going to have odds with you.
I mean, it wouldn't be me if I don't bring up Shaq, like the Shaq and Kobe thing. And I know you weren't part of the team back then, but as far as that dynamic, you can't have too many bulls in the damn room kind of a thing. Like, they were both leaders in a sense.
Yeah.
But Shaq, from what I gathered, was a little bit more of a jokester, a little bit more fun. He'll eat it like a Big Mac and a Diet Pepsi or some shit before he actually goes to play. And Kobe's like, "What are you doing, man?"
Excellence comes in all different forms, man. Shaq was a beast.
I would have loved to see them stick through it, man.
Shaq was a beast. And you hear the stories now of them coming together later in life and saying, man, the mature man, we should have figured that out.
That players only thing, I think, is what it's called.
Man, that was tough. Those two dudes, crazy dynamic, man.
Of course.
And they talked about it. They talked about it themselves later on in life.
That's what happens. The older you get, you start realizing, damn, I was just a young, hot-headed punk, man. And, like, you can't argue, you know what I mean? You can't argue with the fact that Kobe is Kobe. And Shaq, he just didn't have that same mentality. He was just, he is a beast. I've met him a few times. Like, how are people this huge? Like the ancient aliens and all that looking for Bigfoot, they're always like, in search of giants. I'm like, watch a fucking basketball game. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious?
Fact.
Hey, this is another one that pissed me off too. When Kobe retired, dude, like all this confetti and everything. That was a great game, by the way. All the confetti and everything, right? He gets a confetti piece stuck on his forehead. I'm watching this damn game, right? In tears, by myself, drunk as a skunk, and he's got this thing just stuck on his head. I'm going, somebody's gonna remind him, right? Like. Nobody. What kind of a fucking, like, nobody. Sorry, I don't want to, but like, what? Not one person goes, wipe your forehead. This is the last time you're going to take a picture.
People were so enamored, just caught up in the moment.
It was cracking me up because in the post-game interview, he's sitting there and he's like, out of the blue, he starts going, if I'm at a park and there's like a bee floating around my head or my daughter's head, I'm gonna swipe that bee and I'm a white, like he starts trying so hard to be like, why didn't you tell me about the goddamn confetti, I felt horrible. So yeah, anyway, rest in peace, man. All right, I'm gonna get to some of these questions, dude. I've been hearing a lot about basketball players and how quickly they go broke, after the whole scenario. And you guys make money, man. Is there some sort of financial coaching, financial development? Because a lot of you guys come out of high school these days, are young and maybe one and done and stuff like that. Is it up to the player? It should be up to, but overall, I mean, is there like a SAT course on finances that you guys put the young ones through? Or?
It's the NBA, they have the whole rookie consortium where they put the rookies through, an educational seminar when they first come in, rookie orientation, talk to them about finances, talk to them about all kind of different caveats that these young dudes are going to run into. I think the first thing, a lot of young athletes, their agents and their companies, the agents are the ones that kind of really are directing them. And then who's their inner circle, their family, their parents, just figuring out who's in their inner circle to kind of help them lead the right way. But there are financial things in place for the young athletes, and most of the time the agencies that they work with will have some financial advisors, have financial planners to help some of these young guys navigate the influx of money that comes in.
Yeah, I mean, it is overwhelming because I have been hearing horror stories, stuff like that, and it's not like I'm really concerned about other people's finances, but it's a damn shame to see everybody,
These dudes, you think about a lot of these athletes, most of these athletes come from inner cities. Some athletes or parents are, middle class, some of them are well, but most of the athletes, they come into money, they didn't have it growing up.
Yeah.
And so they are the savior for their families, right?
And then you got everybody taking advantage of that.
So there's so many different caveats that these guys deal with, not only for themselves individually of just, man, I have some money, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to buy jewelry, I want to buy all these things that you never had in your life.
And especially being young.
Yeah, man. So it's you want these guys to have some maturity, financial maturity, but it's really tough. And I'm not making excuses for them, but the people that they have around, that's why they're so important. Their support staff, their support system is super important.
If you, as coaches, notice, somebody possibly going like a weird route, like putting guns in their fucking lockers, excuse my language, kid over there, but like guns in the lockers, Gilbert Arena style or whatever, just silly things that just get in the way unnecessarily.
Yeah, no doubt, man. As a coach, I think people don't understand, coaches in general, Man, we're not just coaches. We're father figures, we're uncles, we're big brothers, we're psychologists. Man, we're all of these things to where it's not just about basketball. We really, myself, I've taken upon my career to really try to build what I call intimate relationship with the players. It starts with basketball, then it goes way beyond that.
In a woke culture, you got to watch your language. We're gonna get to that woke crap in a minute, bro.
I'm 52 years old.
Yeah, no,
so when I use language and I use words, I'm speaking from a passionate place.
No, I
So
understand.
there's always people out there that want to try to pick apart.
Trying so hard.
Yeah, man, they want to pick apart what you're saying. But
No.
for coaches, man, it's part of our job to help these guys be better young men, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
We're with them every day, and most of the time we're in like a family type of setting. We travel together, we play together, 82 games, 8 months out of the year. We do all of these things together. We spend more time with our team than we do our families. So the relationships that are built are far more beyond basketball.
And that leads me to an off-written question. As far as turmoil at each other's throats, beefs with players, things popping off. Is that
It's like family,
that
man.
happens? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just, again, that's from a competitive standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the heat of battle. Coaches are competitive, players are competitive. And again, you think about the family element, brothers and sisters, siblings, whatever, mom, dad, the family element is people get into fights. You get into arguments. You don't always agree. Sometimes you wake up one day, you just, whatever, you might be a little testy. It's the same thing, man. We're around each other so much, there are going to be times where you're not on the same page. Sometimes you're not going to always agree about everything that happens within the team concept. And then just sometimes in the heat of battle, emotions are high. Players are emotional. Coaches sometimes are emotional. So you're going to have different elements where you're not going to always get along. You're not going to always see eye to eye. But for me as a coach, it's never personal. It's always,
it can't be personal.
It's always just from sometimes an emotional and a competitive place where it comes from.
Yeah. So as far as it's kind of a multi-faceted question, or however you'd say it, a two-part, three-part question. Doping, steroids, that sort of thing. Thoughts, comments, and is it an issue? Well, first go for it. Like, what do you think about the whole thing? As far as should athletes be allowed to do that? Because so many of them are doing that anyway. They're going under the radar. There are a lot of different forms of doping and steroids that can actually avoid getting freaking caught with. I swear I can speak English. that basically you can't, they don't get detected, things of that nature.
Well,
so and is it something that you would actually frown upon as far as health is concerned, or as far as the advantages that it gives you?
I look at it from a health standpoint, not so much the advantage. Just what is it doing to your body?
Right.
So that's the place that I come from. The performance enhancement. I always think that there's some kind of fallback with it. At some point, those things that you're putting into your body, what is it doing to your body? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it may give you a leg up now, but what about later on in life?
But where do you draw the line? Because you're taking supplements, or whatever it is, creatine and all these nutrients, and you're eating right, you're going for it, and stuff like that. I mean, where would that fine line be? And if some player were to get caught, what would be the issue? Exactly.
Well, I think the NBA has a system set up. If players get drug tested, I want to say, don't quote me, I think 8 times a year randomly. Coaches, we get drug tested once. But I think the random piece for the players is, you just never know. In the off season, these people will show up at your door, and sometimes they'll knock on your door. Hey man, we're here to drug test you. So the NBA has measures in place to help guys stay on the right path. And if they do, the NBA does. They definitely have a drug program for players.
And this is about the steroids right now.
Well, it's not so much steroids. There's a long list.
That was the follow up.
Yeah, there's a long list of things that the NBA has for players not to use. And so that list is super long.
So that's where I was going to go with it, because you have prescription drugs, which could easily become a problem. Surgeries, you're always getting surgeries and all that stuff. But weed, I mean, how harmless is marijuana? You know what I mean? I smoke it, I'm going to tell you right now. So, you know what I mean? I'm a cancer survivor and I grew up in Honolulu. How about that?
Yeah, congrats on that.
Get off the weed train. But, you know, there are things that clearly screw you over. You got the fentanyl, you got all the freaking opioids.
Yeah, man.
What happens if you get caught smoking weed?
I don't know if the NBA, and don't quote me on this, I'm not sure if the NBA tests for marijuana anymore.
Really?
I don't know. That's why I said, don't quote me on that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But I really like what I just heard, though.
I think, man, listen, today's climate, you know, what goes on behind closed doors for people, you never know.
Right.
You never know. Are there players that smoke weed? Absolutely. Are there doctors that smoke weed? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there lawyers? I mean, look, people smoke weed in today's climate, man. The U.S. government has made it a legal thing, you know, for you to sell, for you to buy. So I don't know if the marijuana thing is as big of an issue as it was in the past. It's become more common now because it's legal.
It is. I mean, especially out here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was watching All That Smoke, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Man, they're just sitting there rolling up blunts with just going for it, too. Matt
Stack,
Barnes,
boy,
he pops stuff, dude.
Matt Stack,
I was
man,
like, dude, that guy could chong, man. Like, I'm serious. I'm sitting there smoking along with him. I'm like, I thought I was a fucking stoner, man.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, no, I was serious. And it was funny, they had Shaq on there, and Shaq's like, I never smoke. I'll drink your shit.
I mean, you know what, man? Look, if you go through 100 different athletes, you're gonna hear all kind of different stories.
Yeah.
There's a lot of athletes that don't smoke.
There's still a stigma too. It's kind of fresh. I don't think Shaq would be ready to admit, yeah, I fucking smoke weed, man. So yeah, behind closed doors, everybody does what they do and all that. But it's not like the '70s and stuff where you're doing lines of cocaine at halftime. You know what I mean?
Ooh. But that was a different generation.
My goodness, man.
That was a different generation, man. The '70s they were getting it in the '70s.
I don't know how you would even do that. You know what I mean? Like, you got, not that I would know,
Different
but you
times,
got a 15-minute window, you know what I mean?
Different times, man. Different times.
Alright, so we did do the LeBron thing, but as far as Bronny is concerned, I know LeBron's been trying to hang out, and these questions are they jump around, because I broke my phone, I think I told you guys, but Bronny, hopefully he's alright, you know, he mentioned that, his heart and everything. He's at USC now, and LeBron's been waiting to jam with him. I mean, I'm just speaking from the heart. I highly doubt the Lakers are going to pick up Bronny. You know what I mean? If they do, they do.
Man, listen, you never know. Anything is possible in today's climate. But Bron is definitely a big supporter of his sons, all of his kids in general. Bronny's an incredible athlete, man.
Yeah, I've been watching him develop and stuff.
I don't think people understand to recover from heart surgery and be able to still be a high-level athlete in Division I college, man. That is in itself
brutal.
A story of success. Incredible kid. He is going to be an NBA player.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Does something like that make coaches worry? Like, you know, general managers and stuff like that? Like,
no,
because everybody remembers Hank Gathers.
You know, you have the whole, Bron spared no expense in making sure that his son had the best medical attention, the best doctors, the best recovery, the best advice, everything. So you take a look at his progression from the surgery to his recovery to his ramp up in college. You know, I don't think that's going to worry people because his heart problem was not one where they say, hey, you have this heart condition. They found what the issue was. Sometimes guys have heart conditions and they're like, well, you know, we don't know if you're going to be able to play again.
Reggie Lewis too.
Yeah. So they found what was the issue with his heart problem, and they were able to fix it. And so I think for him, his scenario is going to be different. You see his track record now. The kid is.
I'm watching him through high school. Him and Mikey Williams.
Yeah.
What happened to Mikey Williams?
Mikey's going to be all right, man. You know, sometimes young athletes, man, they get caught up in a few things, but Mikey's recovering.
Can you imagine how crazy the world is now, where kids are becoming superstars in high school? They got shoe deals. You got LaMelo Ball and all those. I mean, that's unfathomable. When I was in high school, I loved basketball. we had the opportunity to put everything on YouTube and create little freaking things like that, highlight reels. I mean,
yeah, but that's evolution, right? The opportunities are endless for these athletes, man. That's where the game has gone, to where they have so many opportunities at a young age to take care of themselves and their families.
Seriously, it's freaking overwhelming because I mean we're right on the periphery of like had we just been 20 years younger, you know what I mean? Like I'm literally in the ballpark with you, man. So, men in women's sports, thoughts, comments.
You said men.
Yeah, it's the transgender thing. I mean, I'm not too knowledgeable.
Men in women's sports.
Right, like so.
No.
See, we can just cut that off right now.
It doesn't even no.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, cool. You can elaborate, but that was
Just,
well said.
You don't need to elaborate on it.
I know. I'll just throw in a couple things. No matter if you're taking hormones and all that stuff, you cut off your whacker, you do all what you got. you bust a full blown freaking Van Gogh on that goddamn thing and send it to your ex. I don't know, but the bottom line is, could you imagine this 6 foot 12? How tall are you now? Like he's tall, man. With your wingspan, you're not going to develop hips, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your bone density is a lot stronger. Your ligaments, you're quick, fast twitch. You're taller, you're leaner. That's why the swimmer guys like streamline through the water, breaking records. Because this guy's a dart. Chicks have breasts, you know? The shape different. You're going to hurt somebody. Stop that. Moving on. Stop that crap, man. Cat Williams exposing everybody on Shay Shay, man. Just give me something. What you think about
Oh, man, listen. You know what's crazy? That was the first time I've ever seen Cat Williams in, like, a personal setting, away from acting. I've never seen him, like, in his real element. And it was kind of cool to kind of see who he was as a guy, because you always see Cat Williams on stage, or you see him in Friday.
Yeah.
Like him it's incredible the characters that he portrays. Now, obviously, that interview broke the internet.
Yeah, it just game changed.
Broke the internet, man. I mean, look, I guess there's all kind of different sides, right? I personally don't know any of those people. I've been a fan of a lot of them, growing up. Bernie Mac, Cedric Entertainer, Steve Harvey. Been a fan of all of these people being successful in their careers. It was jaw dropping, to be able to hear some of the stuff he was saying. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, it was cracking me up. Actually, I couldn't believe it, man.
I was like, man, Cat. I was like,
I didn't know.
Who did what to Cat?
Yeah, right. It's like we've got some bitter backlash happening right now. Like and apparently he like quit comedy. He's gonna come back. Obviously, you can't take that out of him. But I mean, damn, and he's exposing Diddy. He was going for the freaking jugular, man. Oprah, everybody. And now Diddy,
Cat didn't spare anyone.
Nothing at all.
Like I said, I'm in the entertainment industry, but a lot of those people I've never met personally, and it's like you hear so many different things, right? And in today's climate with social media, honestly, you hear so much stuff. It's hard to filter what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
There's more than maybe one outlet, but there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah, I mean, you got it's fake news.
No, and then there's like, some of the stuff that people will put out there, how much of it is real and how much of it is because maybe you felt like this person did you wrong.
A lot of people seem to be bringing up Diddy, though. Even Usher was like, yeah, we got a couple screws loose in this whole freaking scenario.
You know what my stance on all of that is, Marco, honestly? I use NBA coaching as an example. I've had the opportunity to coach some of probably the most controversial players ever. The part of, like you were talking about Diddy and all these things.
Yeah, I was like,
you hear so much stuff, right? And I said my stance on it is, I'm not the type of person to judge anyone based off what I've heard. Like, well, I know there's a lot of stuff, but even with players, some of the players I've coached, you always hear these things about Ron Artest. He's not a good He's this, he's that. J.R. Smith, he's this, he's that. He's a problem. I've always had the stance of, man, I want to get to know these guys for myself. I want to know who they are as individuals before I make any judgment. I don't care what I heard. I want to be able to make my own judgment on them based on how they deal with me.
Did you coach Ron Meta, whatever?
Yeah, Coach Ron.
Yeah.
Meta World Peace.
Is he going as Meta still?
Man, for me, it's crazy. I call him Ron Artest.
The whole damn time.
And then, you know, that is such a good human being.
Yeah, he seems cool, man.
People don't even understand.
He thanked his freaking psychiatrist.
The man was,
championship.
he had his own demons. But back to what you were saying, I've always had the lens, Margo, where I try to personally not get caught up in so much what I always hear or what I read, because there's always part truth.
Yeah.
There's always some other side of the story to it. So I would hope that people would take the same with me if there's ever anything floating around out there that's crazy. Like, I want people to
I couldn't imagine, dude. Like, you're such a cool dude. I'm not gonna sit here and say that a million times, but you really are.
There's always somebody that has something to say, man.
As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna like skip to that question. I do believe one day you're gonna be a head coach in this league.
It's coming.
Like it is. Like I mean,
my time is coming.
It is.
I'll be ready, man. My time is coming.
Shit, and I watched you coach the that All-Star game, whatever that was.
Yeah.
That was badass, man. I'm like, dude, freaking Phil just won an All-Star game, like, or whatever that was. Like, what the hell? This guy's living the life.
Oh,
all right, man. All right, well, you know what? Like, so here's another question that I was wondering. Players in the NBA, when they get recruited, it's prospects for a long time. You guys have been probably looking, scouting at a young age. But what happens when there's just a random anomaly, like at the park? I mean, how would somebody like that go about it? You know what I mean? You got the high school kids, you got the college kids. What about some dude like who's never been seen and whatever? You know what I mean? Like, does that happen?
It's happened.
Yeah,
it's happened before. Look, I think talent is discovered in all areas. And is it a normal place where people are discovered? No, but it has happened. You've had some guys that like Rafer Alston. You know, Skip to Malou, he was a playground legend.
Yeah.
Made his way to the NBA. You know, it hasn't been a lot of them, but talent is discovered. Man, you never know who's watching.
That's the thing.
You know, people go to Rucker Park, you know, some of these famous parks around the country. You never know who's out there. Somebody in the stands might be a friend of a scout, nephew of a scout, uncle, whatever, right? You can 6 degrees of separation.
Especially now with cell phones, everybody's
social media. Right, the social media thing now, so talent is discovered in so many different areas.
Reminds me of Blue Chips, man, when they found Shaq.
That's one of the most epic movies.
I love that movie, dude. Yeah,
Blue Chips.
Where we going? New Cheers. What? Algiers. Algiers! Yeah, man. All of a sudden he's like, what is this thing?
That was a dope movie.
I love that movie, dude. That was a great, and the air up there wasn't that good. I didn't like it that much. Remember that movie? But it's the same damn thing. Where it's like, what the hell's that? You just see some dude on the TVs like.
Well, look, now you think about all these kids that are being discovered from Africa, from Europe, right? There's all of this talent. The basketball is truly a global sport.
Those Euro guys, they're
hoop,
good, dude. Luka's freaking awesome, man. You need to prove to me that David Silver isn't a hybrid Indian. Because I just absolutely...
Who?
The commissioner of the NBA. I knew that was going to get him.
You mean Adam Silver?
Adam Silver, my bad! Hey, let's do that one again. I smoke a lot of weed, people. Adam Silver. I don't know why I said David Silver. Hey, just prove it to me. Can I take a DNA test, man?
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that was just unnecessary, man. But every time I see him, I'm like, I got my eye on you, man. All-Star Weekend. As far as that's concerned, address the issue of, shouldn't it just be NBA players? Like, you spent your whole damn life getting to the NBA, and then somehow All-Star Weekend, and like I said, man, I don't give a rat's ass if you're a woman, if you're somewhere in the middle. It's like NBA players, not like a woman shooting against Curry or some CBA guy, McClung, who can fly, you know.
What are some things that we can do to captivate the fans and the audience? So you see all of these different things, the celebrity games, all that stuff, the influencers that are a part of All-Star Weekend. It's entertainment.
Stephen A. Smith would be like, it's egregious.
Hey man,
You're blaming LeBron for not being in the dunk contest.
You got to understand what the business is now. It's entertainment.
So I was thinking why the dunk contest hasn't had a superstar in there for a while, right? Because to me, the mecca of it, the apex of the dunk contest was Gordon and Levine.
Yeah, that was dope.
2016, unreal. Probably because there's so many damn people on the internet who can fly, like that dude with the score, the 6'1" guy from freaking Toronto or whatever, the white kid that does the scorpion thing. It's like, what the hell? There's so much of that out there that people are getting desensitized. So you got like a LeBron and stuff like that. He's a monster, even when he could get his head above the rim, but he's not like, you know, like a crazy trickster dunker guy.
It's different.
Yeah.
You know, like being in a dunk contest and guys that actually dunk in the games. Like LeBron is one of those guys, man. Even in his prime, he wasn't a guy that I would see enter into the dunk contest. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, athlete to ever play basketball. The difference is like MJ in that time. MJ was just he was an electrifying dunker.
Yeah.
Like his style, his charisma, different.
Yeah,
there are some guys,
decisive.
man. There are some guys that are phenomenal in-game dunkers, like running through traffic, dunking on people, over people. And then, you know, there are some guys that are just so creative. You know, they may not dunk in a game, but they have so much creativity to be in a dunk contest.
Oh man, I have to say this. Corruption. Okay. I remember, I forget what game it was, this was a while back, and I sent you a message at halftime or something like that. Like, my thing is, there was the Tim Donaghy scandal. There was all that. And I don't want no snitching, no bullcrap here. This isn't Shay Shay and Cat, you know what I mean? But like, is that still going on? Is it an issue? You know what I mean? Do you feel like that takes away from the game?
Look, I think the whole Tim Donaghy thing he's separate case. It's hard to fathom, man, in today's climate with everything that goes on. There's really no way for people to get away with that type of behavior in the NBA. Look, referees, man, are under a lot of pressure. It's a tough job. Listen,
I couldn't.
They are probably the most disliked people in the world.
Pretty much.
In the sense, because you walk into an arena, you got 20,000 people that are yelling at you. You got coaches from both teams that are yelling at you, and you have players from both teams that are yelling at you pretty much every play. Non-stop. And I, for one, can tell you, because I'm on their ass every game. And, you know, the referees have a hard job, man. It's a hard job to be at that level and be a pro. They're not perfect. Sometimes they make bad calls. I'm serious. I mean, the way I look at it is you want them to get every call right?
Yeah,
you want them to make every call. Look, dude, people have this thing of, man, they cheated tonight. Yeah, sometimes they
just looks off.
Sometimes
it's just like, what the hell?
And sometimes you get a bad whistle. There are games when you get a bad whistle, and that shit is the worst thing ever.
And I could just see, if I was a part of the association, how much that would infuriate me.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
hey, look, that doesn't change as from a competitive standpoint. You know, you try to prepare your team to go out and win games, and there are times where you feel like the officiating is affecting the game, the outcome of the game. Nah, that is one of the worst feelings for a player and coach to have to deal with, when you feel that had an outcome of how the game turned out.
Do you think that there was a little bit of a corruption going on? Lakers, Sacramento, turn of the millennium.
When the Lakers and the Kings were playing back then?
Yeah, back in the day, where like it was just whack ass call after weird ass call, and I know Stern was like, I want, you know, like, the Lakers to go forward. I mean, people want the Lakers. You're on the most. Do you realize that you coach for the most famous team of any sport on the planet?
We don't always get calls like that.
But I'm just saying. So like, look, we could be here for 4 more hours. I know you're in a hurry, so I came up with a little segment called the Raw 10.
Yep.
The Rotten.
Yep.
Which will evolve. I think I came up with it.
Kobe
to my dog. I know your kid wants to jam and stuff. Dude, you're the man. You know, we're gonna be friends for life here. So let me throw my Raw 10 at you.
Let's
Ready?
go.
All right, favorite musical, the Raw 10 with Mr. Phil Hannon. Favorite musical artist?
Mine of all time?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Who? Why are you trying to put me on the spot, bro? I got
Because
so many,
that's my job.
Run through my head, but favorite of all time, probably Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Favorite movie?
Oh, without a doubt, Usual Suspects.
Nice!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Usual Suspects.
A.
1A, Shawshank Redemption, 1AB.
I like that answer. All right. Crypto.com Arena or the Mamba Center?
Well, you brought this to me years
Yes, I
ago.
did. Because I
Mama Center all day.
Mamba Center, and I have a petition, so one day it's going to be relevant again. I can't believe that happened. So thank
You
you.
know, the crypto, man, they paid a lot of money.
Yeah, they did. Isn't it ironic that it was the Staples Center for 20 years, and then the year that I started a petition, I'm like, you know what? Phil's on the team. Maybe he's got some pull. Let's do the
I'll never forget when you said that.
Yeah, and then
Phil, Mama Center, Mama Center.
and then no crypto. Like, what the hell? All right, cool. Favorite NBA moment, pre-NBA and in NBA.
For me, pre-NBA, as a fan,
Yeah.
as a young kid,
As a youngster.
man, I had a chance to see MJ play his first game against the Warriors, and he got hurt. That
Sounds
was his rookie
impressive.
year. Played the Golden State Warriors. Just being in that building
Yeah.
and watching him live was awesome.
Nice. Now, current.
Current, man, I've had a chance to be a part of 3 championship teams. Man,
Ooh, the silence.
there's so many crazy moments, but I would have to say, Game 5, NBA Finals 2016, when we came back 3-1. That Game 5 in Golden State, watching Kyrie and LeBron
Nice.
both put up 40 balls.
Yeah.
Pause.
Both.
That was an insane game to be a part of.
That's a great answer too, man. I love it. All right. Favorite arena.
Garden. I
I'm
love
the
Garden, bro.
You love the Garden.
Garden is like
Did a Laker
look,
coach
I'm call it Staples. Like LA is I can't, but the Garden, it's just the energy in that building, man, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a great atmosphere to play in the Garden.
Wait, no, specifically Boston or New York.
New York, man, Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Come on,
No, we
man.
need to be.
When you say the Garden, everybody knows what you mean when you say the Garden.
Yeah, but I'm a douchebag.
I'm talking about the Boston Garden. Man.
Favorite president.
Obama.
Nice. Favorite beverage.
My favorite beverage. I'm a whiskey guy.
Beautiful. Really?
Yeah, I love whiskey, man.
Next time.
Yeah.
All right. Worst timing to have a hangover, hypothetically and experienced. Ooh. Yeah.
Worst timing to have a hangover.
Mm-hmm.
Probably-
Hypothetically.
Probably on your marriage day.
Yeah. No. That's bad.
Don't be hungover on your marriage
Don't
day.
be hungover. Now, experienced. Don't be hungover on your wedding day. This is words from the right ones.
He said experience.
Experienced.
Man, what was my worst hangover?
Just a rotten, dirty, damn hangover, man. Close your ears. I'm talking to your kid all camera.
Oh, that's a good one right there. Now you got me thinking. I've had some hangovers in my time. I think probably the worst hangover I had was at the University of Hawaii.
Oh, shicer.
Oh man, we won the WAC tournament. We beat BYU in Utah to win the WAC tournament, and we got hammered.
Just York.
Oh man!
I would have thought it was in the bubble.
And we the next day we had the seating for the tournament. Like they were telling us where you're gonna play, and our team was all together. Man, I was done. That was probably the worst hangover I've ever had.
Memorable as hell.
I remember that one.
Beautiful. All right. Oh, I know this is probably something that could get you in trouble, possibly. So we'll call it call it what it is. Hottest actress.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. Let's just go there. Are you ready? Who's the GOAT?
Who is the GOAT? That's a great answer, great question. Here's my answer to that. I've always looked at, the conversation around the GOAT has always been around who Kobe, MJ, and Bron, right? So my answer to that, just for those three, because the argument could be in any kind of way. Some people will come to you and say Bill Russell was a GOAT or Will Chamberlain was a GOAT. You can get all these people that have different variations. I look at Bron, Kobe, and MJ as being three of the most iconic players to ever play. And you have to throw Steph in there. Steph is iconic. Changed the game. Wilt was iconic. Shaq was iconic. There's all these guys. But to back up to your question, I think LeBron James is the best all-around player to ever play basketball.
And there you have it.
Best all-around.
Uh-oh. Oh, wait, there's more.
I think MJ is the fiercest competitor to ever play. And super skilled. I think from a skill standpoint, I think Kobe Bryant is probably the most skilled player.
Make a commitment.
What you mean make a commitment?
Who do you think?
Nah, man.
Can't do it like that.
You can't do that.
I know. I agree.
Here's why.
I just kind of want to pressure this.
Nah, there's no pressure. You can't pressure me, brother. I've been around this too long. Those guys are all great in their own rights, and they're all from different generations, right? I believe that without MJ, there really is no Kobe.
No.
And even parts of LeBron's game. MJ was like, he's the cornerstone for all young athletes, and coming behind him, saying, man, I want to play like him. So I look at all three of those guys, and they come from different eras.
That is a great answer.
Man, they're so great. Like, people always want to put them up, and you're going to get different answers.
No, I know.
Here,
I even give.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I was raised in the 80s. I grew up watching MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were raised in the 90s and 2000s. They were watching Kobe. And then the people that were beyond that, they all grew up with LeBron. You're going to get different answers from each generation.
I would have never thought LeBron would have the most points in NBA history. Honestly, I agree with everything Mr. Handy just said here. Coach Handy, soon to be head coach. But I'm going with LeBron. Just like I am.
And you know what? You're not wrong in that assessment. Everybody has an opinion of who they think is the greatest player of all time. Those three guys are three of the greatest players to ever play basketball.
To even touch the damn ball, man.
For sure, hands down.
You, my friend, are the GOAT. Freaking love you, dude. Thank you for showing up to the general population here out in the hills or wherever the hell we are. To be continued, man. Everybody, Mr. Phil Handy,
Marco,
coach from gonna be a coach soon of his own right.
Y'all don't know nothing about that.
You just totally left.
My bad.
That's okay.
You know how to give him to hang loose, bro.
Loved it, man.
Appreciate
Loved it. See you soon. See you soon. We're gonna go freaking hang out and talk now.